Hi folks, this is the How To Guys, and today we're going to go over how to replace a broken phone screen on your smartphone. So you can see here, we got a phone with a ton of cracks, it got dropped twice, and finally the screen gave up and the phone won't turn on. We got pictures and stuff on there that we want to get off, and it did not have USB debugging enabled, so we can't just use the computer screen as the screen when we plug it in. So we're gonna have to replace the screen to get the data off. So we're gonna use these tools here: tweezers, spudgers, screwdriver, and we're gonna start with a heat pad, microwave it until it's nice and hot, and then put the phone inside there like a little pouch, and you're gonna let it sit until the phone is pretty hot to the touch. You wanna be careful not to cause any damage to the battery with that. So really you're going for the temperature such that here you can see the metal spudger is kind of easily going through that glue that holds the screen down. So as the phone cools, that glue is gonna re-solidify, and you want to keep the phone just hot enough so that as you're going around separating the screen from the body, that glue is nice and soft and you can kind of cut through it. You also want to look up the schematics for the phone that you're working on before you start, because there's going to be some ribbons inside the edge here for the screen and for maybe some other components like the antenna that you want to make sure to avoid cutting the ribbons as you're going around with the spudger. And you can see here, since the screen is broken in this case, and we're not just going into a functional phone to replace a battery or something, we don't have to be too careful about yamming on the screen and cracking it more. So I'm really kind of going at the screen a lot harder than I would if it wasn't already broken. And it is proving a little hard with the cracks, some of the glue sticking to them. So if you encounter the same issues, it can help, especially if you have an intact screen, to put suction cups on it and help pry it up evenly so that you're not further damaging the screen if you're trying to save it. So now we've got the phone open up here, and you can see there's two ribbons that are still connecting the screen. And then there's all this glue outlined by the arrow, all this glue residue that's still in there. So we're going to start by pulling off all the old bits of old screen and pulling off all the bits of glue. We're going to replace all this glue just because it was in such bad shape from the screen being broken. So just tweezering out any broken screen bits and whatnot, getting this all as clean as possible. And then there's the two ribbons that are still attaching the screen. In this case, it's the screen ribbon and the home button ribbon. And so we're going to disconnect those by taking a spudger and just actuating the little lock on the ribbon that holds it down. And so you can see here, there's just this little tab that you flip up to release the ribbon, and you push back down to tighten over the ribbon when you replace the ribbon. And so there's the tab for the screen ribbon. And you want to be careful not to break these. They can be fragile, so just be patient with them. Be gentle. Now we have the old screen, and depending on the phone, there's going to be a certain number of components on the old screen that you need to transfer over to the new screen. On this phone, we have the home button here, so I'm prying that off of the old screen. You want to be gentle because you don't want to have to replace this part also. And then there's also this light sensor here that I'm also going to pry off and transfer over to the new screen. And if you're spending more money on a replacement screen, it might have these components new already assembled with it. If you're paying the least amount of money you can find for a new screen, it probably won't have all these components. I've had to transfer over the cameras as well, or speakers and stuff for different phones. So I'm going to mount this is the new screen, and I'm going to mount the home button and the light sensor to this new screen, and I'm going to get them into place here, and then I'm going to use some of the tape, the glue tape, that we're going to also use for gluing the screen back down to the rest of the case. And I'm just going to cut off little pieces of this tape, this double-sided tape, and put it on the components and stick them to the new screen. So it's just a matter of cutting little bits. It's really sticky and tedious to work with, so you want to have a little scissors, a little razor, and some tweezers to help stick it to the components and then stick them down onto the new screen. You want to make sure to take this slow and do it right so that everything's functional when you get the phone all put back together. So here we go. Now the new screen is ready to put back in the phone. So I'm going to set it off to the side, and I'm going to take that same double-sided tape and I'm going to work my way around the edge of the phone, just inside the case. Anywhere that we pulled glue off of the old phone, that's going to be where we want to put this double-sided tape down. And it's nice, it comes with this backing so that it's only sticky on one side as you're installing it. So use the tweezers. And then here I'm pulling off that backing. So once it's in place, you can pull that backing off, and now it's sticky on both sides. You can see that black outline around the outside of the phone. I have it all the way around, and I'm ready to put the screen on. So I'm going to take the new screen, and it's got those two ribbons as we mentioned, and I'm just going to gently put the ribbon into the clamp, and then I'm going to close that clamp down on the ribbon. And I'm going to do that for both ribbons. Here's the one for the screen itself. So slide the ribbon in, and then just take that clamp and using the spudger, push it to clamp down. And these clamps are pretty universal. Yours might be a different color or flip a different direction. Just make sure you're being gentle with it. And now that those ribbons are connected, this would be a great time to just test that the phone is working. Because everything is connected internally, the phone still should work. So if you press the power button right now, it will turn on. So I'm just going to lightly align the screen in place because I'm feeling a little bit confident, but that glue is not going to be fully bound yet. So I'm just going to lightly press the screen into the correct position so that I'm not likely to tear the ribbons or anything messing with the phone, and then try to turn it on. And here you can see that it is booting up, so that is a major win, as the old screen would not turn on at all. Then I turned the exposure of the camera down, so we're at the refresh rate of the screen. This ribboning is not happening live, only in the video. If you do have something weird with your screen you just installed, this would be the perfect time to take a quick video and send it in for a warranty and get a new replacement screen. And then here you can see the screen is not fully connected to the case yet. It's just making contact with that double-sided sticky tape. So we need to heat that tape up so that it turns back into the kind of glue that was originally on the phone. So I'm going to heat it up and put a weight over it, and then I'll just press that screen very lightly so I don't break the screen down into the glue, and that will complete the project and the screen will be mounted to the phone correctly. Although oftentimes less waterproof than it originally was, so just be very careful with that and maybe get a better case. In this instance, for this client, their main concern was just getting the data back off the phone anyway, so we achieved that easily. I could have not even connected the screen fully and reused it for another project, but I ended up giving it back to them fully functional with a new case that helps it remain more waterproof, and they kept using the phone and were happy. So I hope your repair goes as smoothly as this one, and good luck.